Hi, I'm Jeff DeRiso from Beckman Collaborative, and today I'm going to show you how to create an automation in Zoho CRM that sends a thank you email to a referral contact when a deal is closed. We'll do this using a custom function written in Zoho's proprietary scripting language called Deluge. This helps you automate your client nurturing process, and it opens up a wide range of possibilities for future email automations across modules. So let's get into Zoho CRM and I'll show you how it works. Okay, here we are in Zoho CRM and we're in the deals module in our test deal that we've used for previous videos. So what I want to do this time is when this deal stage gets set to agreement signed, basically closed won, we've won the deal, we want to send our referral contact here a thank you message via email. Now this referral contact is the person who referred the business to us, whereas this contact is the client. So we want to send this person a customized thank you message. So how can we send this email to this person and automate it when the deal stage gets to agreement signed? First, let's look at our email templates. We go to Setup, Templates. So email templates in CRM have to be attached to a single module. Now you see we have this referral thank you here that's connected to the contacts module. The reason we did that is because we wanted to bring their first name, which is in the contacts module. So if I click on this test for the deals module, this contacts.firstname, it will get the first name of the main contact, the person who is the client. But unfortunately, we cannot merge the first name of the referral contact. And if we do merge this deals referred by field, we'll get their full name. So if we're trying to send a custom message to someone, of course, and we have an existing relationship to them, we want to use their first name only. And unfortunately, the CRM email templates are limited as far as what fields you can merge from different modules. So in this case, we want to send this contacts message to our contact. So let's try to set up a workflow rule to do that. Go to Workflow Rules, create a rule in the Deals module. Send referral thank you, and we'll click Next. We want to execute this rule when a specific field, the deal stage, is modified to the value agreement signed. And if I'm going a little fast for you here, I do have a separate video that goes over how to create these workflow rules. We'll click Next here. And we only want this rule to apply to deals that have a referral contact. So we want to say this referred by field is not empty. Now let's try to send our email. So one of our actions we can do is to notify via email. So let's click that. And we can create an email notification here. Let's click on that. Now, this is where we select our CRM email template, which I showed you on the previous screen. So let's select template. Now, when I pull this up, it brings up a list of email templates that are attached to the deals module. Because our workflow rule is triggered from the deals module, we can only use email templates here that are connected to the deals module. So we could use our test, but like I said previously, that one will not allow us to merge the referral contact's first name. So how can we send our referral thank you message that's attached to the contacts module and trigger it from this rule? So instead of using this predefined email notification, we'll click Cancel. And we want to achieve this using a function. So we'll click Function, and we'll create a new function. And this is where we're going to write, with our Deluge scripting language, a simple process of getting this referral contact's information and sending them a customized message with the referral thank you email template that is attached to the contacts module. So let's click Write Your Own. We'll call this Send Referral and click Create. So now we're in our Deluge editor screen. The first thing we need to do is add an argument. We've discussed this in a previous video. In this function, I'm going to be adding the deal ID as an argument. And that will be the deal ID. And we'll click done and save. So the first thing we want to do is to pull our deal record and information about the referral contact. So we'll just write a comment here. This is not part of the code when I put these 2 forward slashes. This is just a comment. This just tells us what the code is doing. It's not actionable code as long as we have these 2 forward slashes here. So we'll say get deal and referral contact. So as we did in our previous video, we're going to establish a variable. We'll call it deal, and we'll use our integration task zoho.crm get record by ID. We need the module name and the deal ID. And we put our semicolon to end our phrase. So now the deal record will be stored in the deal variable. The next thing we need to do is to get the information about our referral contact. So we'll type in contact, and we're pulling this variable from the deal record. So it's deal.get. And then this is where we type the API name of that referred by field, which is referred by semicolon. And let's do an info statement of our referral contact to make sure that our function is working properly. We'll click save and execute. And here it's asking us to input our argument, which is our deal ID. So to get that, we go to another tab, we pull up our test deal here. And in the URL, we grab this long number right here. And that is the deal ID. So we'll copy and paste it, and we'll click save. So now the function has run successfully, and we're doing an info statement for the referral contact. So this is the information that's stored in the variable referral contact. It gives us the name and the contact ID. So the next thing we'll do is we'll get that contact ID and store it in a separate variable. Type in our variable name, and we'll say referral contact.get ID, because we're getting this ID from this map, which is our referral contact. So the next step in our function is that we want to pull the record for this contact, and we'll say get ref contact record. And to do that, we'll do our same integration task. Get record by ID. This time we're doing the contacts module and the contact ID that we've established in the previous variable. Now that we've gotten the contact record for this referral contact, we can pull the first name and the email out of that. So we'll call that ref first name equals referral contact record dot get, and now the API name for first name, first underscore name, and we'll have a semicolon. And we'll do the same thing for the email, referral email, ref contact record dot get, and email. And while we're at it, let's just get their full name as well. So now we found our referral contact, and we've gotten their unique ID and the unique fields we need to send this email. So now how do we send this email? So you see over here on the left side, you see something called notification send mail. If I double click that, that brings up the send mail task. And this is great for internal notification. So if I want to send an email to someone in our organization every time something happens to get them an alert on something happening within our function, this is great. Now the problem with this send mail function in Deluge is that it's not tracked the way Zoho CRM emails are tracked, as far as whether you can see when people opened it or clicked it, or it bounced, etc. So because we're sending this email to a contact and not someone internal, we want to activate that email tracking in CRM. So we can't use this send mail task for this purpose. So what can we do? If we type in zoho.crm. and we look at our integration tasks, we don't see one that sends an email. So how do we send this email? So this is the time where I need to explain that these integration tasks are really just simplified wrappers for API calls within Zoho CRM. Now, these are the most popular API endpoints of things you can do within CRM with Deluge, but they are not the only ones. So if you need to do something that's beyond these integration tasks, you're going to have to use a different way of doing it. And you do that by typing invoke URL, hit enter, and we'll establish our variable. And this variable is going to be send thank you email. So now we need to figure out these values that we need to put here. The way we do that is we go to our CRM API. Okay, so here's our CRM API task for sending an email. Now, this page is a little bit intimidating if you're not familiar with making manual API requests, but there's just a few things that we need to look at to get the information we need. Now, first, we have this sample request right here. This is the URL that we need, except instead of leads, we're going to use contacts. And instead of this number right here, we want to insert our contact ID. So let's just copy this and put it as the URL. And we'll edit it. Let's say contacts. And instead of this, we need to close our quotes and then the plus sign. And we need to enter our variable referral contact ID, and then another plus sign. And then open your quotes again and finish the URL. And the type, we go back to our send mail. The type is post. That's the type of HTTP request. So we have post. So the next thing is the parameters, which is the body of our request. And in this case, we won't need headers. We'll instead use connection. So like I've explained in previous videos, in order to do API calls between apps or even within the same app, we have to create a connection. So in this case, I created a Zoho OAuth 2 connection called CRM_email. If you look at this API page, the scope here, this is the scope that you need to add in your connection. So I'll show you how to add a connection here. We'll go to Setup and Developer Hub Connections. So here we would create a connection and select OAuth, Zoho OAuth. And now for the scope, we want to put this scope, send mail all, and type it in our search here and check that. And then we enter a name and a link name and we save it. But I already have a connection, so we'll leave the page and we'll look at the one that I already have. It's called CRM email here. We have the scope for send mail all, and our connection link name is CRM email. So that's where you would copy that. And here's a sample invoke URL post right here, which shows you how to use that connections parameter. So we make sure that our CRM email connection is called within our invoke URL task. Now we need to insert our parameters, which is actually the body of the message itself. So we go back to our API documentation and we'll scroll down to sample input here. Now this is a sample for the body of the message. This is how you insert the data. So let's just copy this sample by clicking this right here. We'll go to a JSON formatter and we'll paste it there. Now obviously this is sample data. Now the only mandatory fields are from and to. So we can get rid of fields that we don't need. For example, we don't need reply to, CC, or BCC. So we'll just get rid of those. Now this org email we'll get back to later. We don't need the scheduled time or the reply to. And we don't need any attachments. So that simplifies it a little bit. Now we have two options for sending our email. We can pass the ID, the template ID here, or we can manually populate a message with HTML within our Deluge editor. So we have both of those options. First, I want to show you how to do it with a template. So we'll get rid of these parameters for now, and we'll select all and click remove whitespace. And now copy and paste this, and we'll create a variable before our invoke URL task, and we'll call it email message equals, and we paste this JSON formatted email message into our email message variable. Now, obviously we need to change these values here because we're not trying to send an email to Patricia Boyle or to Jason Smith. We're trying to send it from our organization. Now for username, we can use our variable zoho.admin user. That will give you the name of the admin user. And for email, we'll put zoho.admin user ID, which will automatically populate the email address of the admin user. For our to username, we want that referral contact full name. So we'll type in referral contact full name here. And for the email, we'll use our variable ref email. Okay. Now we need to get our email template ID. Now this is obviously just the sample from the sample data. So how do we get our email template ID? So we'll go back to our other tab and go back to customization, templates. Now we select the template that we want. We want this referral thank you message from the contacts module. We'll click the pencil icon. Now, once we click the pencil icon, we can look up at our URL here, and it says template ID equals, and here's our unique template ID for this exact template. So we copy this from our URL into this ID right between the quotation marks here. So now we have our unique template ID. So we've got our email message, and it's stored in this map variable called email message. So now in our parameters, we put email message dot toString, open and close parentheses. Now what this toString function does is it changes this from a map variable to a string variable, which is the correct way to format it for our API call. So now we want to do an info statement for send thank you email. We'll click save and execute. Oh, and it looks like I forgot a semicolon after my email message variable. So we'll add that and we'll try again. Okay, now we'll get our deal ID and our test deal. And we copy our deal ID here from the URL and we input it into our function and click save. Now you see when we info this send email variable, we did get an error message when we tried to do this. And it says email can't be sent using this from address. So because of the way we have our email set up in our organization, we have to set this org email parameter to true. And that will allow us to send this email from this Zoho admin user ID email address. And that depends on your unique email settings within your organization. For example, we have a client that uses Zoho Mail, and we did not have to set this variable as true for them. So it just depends on how you have your email set up. So now that we've set our org email to true, this function should work correctly. So let's click save and save our workflow rule. And we can go to our deal to test it. Let's go to our deal. And now we can set the the stage of the deal to agreement signed in order to trigger our workflow rule. So we'll click agreement signed. And now we'll check our email. So here we are in my email, and you can see we've received our referral thank you message here. And it does have the first name of our contact and the exact text that we put in our template. Now, if we go to this referral contact, I want to show you this, very important. And we go to emails, you see we've sent this email a couple times here to test it. So we have the CRM email tracking that we're looking for here, and that's from this email that we sent with our workflow. So that's how you create a cross-module email automation in Zoho CRM. And like I said, instead of using the template, you could customize the message even more and manually input the message using HTML and also inserting unique variables from your code. So that will allow you to customize it even further, taking fields from multiple different modules and using them inside of your message. So I would encourage you to get started with this and also to explore the Zoho CRM API, because like I said, there's a lot more API endpoints here than there are integration tasks. So you have a lot more options in terms of what you can do with a custom function in Zoho CRM. So please leave any questions you have in the comments or contact Beckman Collaborative for support, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.